talk crazy. Regardless. Yeah, I ain't even what you doing. Yeah. I just want to talk. I don't care what they say, I just keep on going. Keep it regardless, I kick you a star. Whenever can I go in the door? I just want the money, not trying to make cars. Just we could even defeat the odds. And I know that you gon' get it. I swear to God, niggas is fine. I just keep on going. Keep it regardless, I kick you a star. Whenever can I go in the door? I just want the money, not trying to make cars. Just we could even defeat the odds. And I know that you gon' get every charge. I swear to God, that these niggas is fine. I swear to God, that these niggas is fine. From the trenches to the survival conflict.
Good evening. We're now tuned into another episode of Astroteric TV. Yo, once again, rocking with your Astro Guru, owner of the Emerald Tablets. And I'm back with another episode of the Universal Laws, the fourth installment in my 5-part series, if you will. And it's definitely been a journey getting this information out, posting it, whatever you call it, uploading it, whatnot. Just seeing as I do have a life outside of podcasting, obviously. This is a life that I'm building. So hit that like, subscribe, tell a friend, follow the page. But if I'm not mistaken, which I'm not, we're on 31 through 40. And my energy is out of whack today. I apologize in advance because I'm probably gonna have to fight my way through this. But just persevering, just weathering storms, trying not to be one. Now, as we are at law number 31, the law of new beginnings. The law of new beginnings states that when you break, or when there is a break in an energy pattern, a new cycle begins. What I mean by a break in energy pattern, say you've been going to a specific job, and when you first got the job, your energy levels were high. They were treating you like, hey, we know it's great to have you as part of the company. We look forward to you being here a long time. And say a year or two down the line, it's like they're playing with your paychecks. They don't want to give you no overtime no more. You just, you went from being the new face on the block, from everybody being hyped up about you, to just being some normal guy. And when that happened, there was a break in energy pattern. So you might start to feel as if like, oh, before they was all on my dick. Now they not. I'm about to find a new job. They're not giving me my worth here. And it's not, so to say, that. It's just that the law of new beginnings applies to all beings. So with new beginnings comes attention. And when new cycles begin, people tend to pay attention to what they're newly going through with a lot of focus, in which you can only focus on but so much. So that's why certain things, like even when you start out in a relationship, when you first like each other, everything is beautiful and nothing can go wrong. And as you start to learn each other and you become around each other every day, and you have to soak in the negative as well as the positive, because the positive doesn't stand out as much as it used to. Or it does. It's just y'all might be focusing on negative aspects and just not the positive ones. And that's what causes breakups. So once again, examples of the law of new beginnings work would be things like a death in your family, because that'll break your energy and make a new pattern. Going through therapy, that'll make you have new patterns of behavior. A breakup, You know, you might spend all day every day with somebody, but if y'all break up, you might just put all your energy into going to work. Sometimes it's even as easy as like a birth. A woman can, you know, or a father can have a break in the energy pattern when they have a child. It'll make them want to be different. That being said, law number 32 will be the law of compensation. The law of compensation states that everything that has happened to you, will happen to you, and is happening to you is your fault. The reason it's your fault is because the law of manifestation says everything around you is product of thoughts, feelings, and actions. The law of compensation just happens to return those thoughts, feelings, and actions to you through time. So if I have say I have a thought today where it's like, I want to marry a white girl. I may not I might not think about this often, or I might not really be fully invested in it. But however, the chance for me to even meet a white girl or have a white girl as my girlfriend would present itself somewhere down the line. And the universe doesn't care if you're in a relationship or if you're going through something. It just accepts your request, and it fulfills that request at another time in your life. And it'll remind you, like, man, I'm not gonna lie, this white girl cool. I always wanted a white chick. And there you go. You just might not know any at the time right now. So your thoughts, feelings, and actions will present an opportunity or a circumstance, or it'll take you spiritually in the direction of fulfilling your need, which is the law of compensation. You all must be compensated. Remember, your life returns your attitude to you through time. So what you think, feel, and act on will be returned to you. And it's not just karma, because karma can come from any lifetime. You could be suffering someone else's karma. We'll get into that later down the line. I'm not ready for that yet. Now, this is another one of my favorite laws, because I'm a life path number 3, and I love all 3s. Anything to do with 3. But the law of psychometric influence. Now, walk with me on this one. The law of psychometric influence states that 2 objects, inanimate or animate, that encounter each other will continue to affect each other even at great distances long after they've separated. So it's like if you introduce 2 dogs to each other and then they just go home and never see each other again. That dog somewhere in its dog brain is still thinking about the other dog or what it smelled like that day or whatever effect it may have had on it. It might have just felt something like, man, that was a cool dog. It might not even say nothing. It might not have even barked, right? But however, we'll get deeper into this for you. Matter influences matter. So, if I take an inanimate object, psychometric influences work as if, say, I buy a chain from my homeboy who's a robber. If I buy a chain from my homeboy who's a robber, my body is gonna be influenced by the energy previously had by the owner. Pardon. Back to regularly scheduled program. When I wear that chain, I'm going to be influenced by the energy of the previous owner. And if I sell it to someone, so on and so forth. Now, the more empathic you are, the bigger the influence. just seen as just more sensitive to energies. Another example would be moving into a house owned by someone else. The reason people don't move into the Amityville house because the horror of the Amityville attacks. I can take that. The Amityville attacks. That's not a house that somebody wants to live in, seeing as the house still holds that energy. Now, when two people encounter each other, the intensity of that encounter dictates the duration and the impact of the influence within the relationship. So when there's a whole lot of passion there, or when there's a whole lot of hate there, or a whole lot of love, those two people will be greatly impacted for time to come. It's not just like a one night stand energy where you don't even remember somebody's name. You more so on the other side of the spectrum, you might still remember what they smell like. You might just see them everywhere you go in life because you've been consumed. But I digress. Law number 34, the law of totality. It's similar to the law of one, but just expounded upon. Each part of a totality has its own characteristics to sum up the totality. So it's like if you got 10 ones, you need all 10 of those ones to equal 10. We need the big and the macro and the micro. Now, however, each part has characteristics of the totality to sum itself. So it's kind of like if you're a parent with 5 children, all 5 of your children have your characteristics. So it's like all 5 of those children have the characteristics of the parents. Things like that. So they're 50-50 of, each child is 50-50. Nobody's all anything. But when separated, each part can perform the duties of the totality. Bless me. Thank you. Now, when separated, each part can perform the duties of the totality. Just basically meaning, after being broke down from the highest to its smallest, even the little small parts can produce the same amount of power, and they have the same amount of consciousness, and they can react and act the same way that they would if they were all together. So it's kind of like if you think you're weak alone, but if you got your 2 homeboys with you,